You are listening to the Next Gen Jets show. Now, here are your hosts Connor Long, Chris Grosso, Jack Potter, and Josh Willever.
Yes, you are, in fact, listening to the Next Gen Jets show, streaming live right here on YouTube and Twitter. What is going on, New York Jet fans? Hello, everyone. Welcome into the show as we come to you guys live right here on this Sunday afternoon, December 13th, 2025. Thank you all for joining us. Be sure to drop down below, smash that like button, and hit subscribe. That is the free way to support us and the work that we do right here on the show. Again, smash the like button, hit subscribe. That is free. It helps us grow significantly. We want to engage with you guys, want to hear what you guys have to say. So as always, throw all your questions, throw all of your comments, throw all your thoughts in the chat for us to get you guys calling to the show with the link pinned at the top of the chat as well. We appreciate the hell out of you guys, and we appreciate your support as always through this nightmarish season yet again. There's only 4 games left in the year for the Jets. Of course, tomorrow in Jacksonville, the Jets 13.5-point underdogs on the road against a Jaguars team that just steamrolled the Indianapolis Colts. So tomorrow will be an interesting game. Undrafted rookie Brady Cook will make his first NFL start after coming in last week's game against Miami while the team was down 21-0 in the first quarter. Tomorrow has the potential to be an absolute unmitigated disaster, but a lot of fans have shifted their attention away from the games into the draft, into players the Jets could potentially re-sign, some free agent targets, and the Jets made some off-season news, I guess you could say, in season, as they re-sign offensive lineman Josh Myers to a 2-year extension worth up to $11 million. That news broke Friday morning, and look, Josh Myers signed with this team in the offseason on a very, very, very cheap 1-year deal with the expectation of playing a primary backup role. He had 4 years of starting experience in Green Bay. He was Justin Fields center at Ohio State. He didn't expect to start right away, but of course, due to Elijah Vera Tucker's season-ending tricep injury the Tuesday before the season starts, he is forced into a starting role with Joe Tippmann sliding out to guard, and he has been the Jets starting center in every single game this season. He hasn't been great. He's clearly been the weakest link on the offensive line, but again, he was not expected to be a starter. He was not expected to inherit that very role. So given that, I think he's done a solid job, and more so, as I wrote for Jets X Factor yesterday, what this signals to me is that the Jets are rewarding internal growth, and that is pretty much step one as it pertains to building a long-term and sustainable culture in this league, Josh.
Yeah, guys, glad to be back with you after missing last week. Connor, Jack, Chris, nobody better to get to do it with. And look, it's officially eliminated. The Jets are no longer have even an outside possibility at the playoffs. So we do it again for the 15th straight year, but nobody better to do it with. And boy, this team has to win something for this fan base.
Thoughts on the Myers extension, Josh? I gave my thoughts. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's solid. I also want to bring him back. I'm hoping that they bring back AVT on a backup contract, and if he's in there, he has the potential to play like a Pro Bowl caliber guard. I think Joe Tippmann has done an awesome job sliding over to guard, so you certainly have your options full in the best way possible at the offensive line spot come next year. I think I'm perfectly fine with keeping Josh Myers in there. I think I've had no problems with the line whatsoever this year. Obviously, Membu has been one of the best rookies in his class at tackle spot. Fashion News kept it up on the outside as well. So I have no problem with the Jets solidifying it. They have cap space to work with going into next offseason. You're right, Connor. You bring him in on this very cheap deal, expecting him to play a backup role, and he gets forced in there for the starting spot. And I think he's played, with that being said, he has played certainly well enough to earn his way into a starting position for next year. So, yeah, I think it's a good move. And with the circumstances coming in, I think he's played his way into that role for next year.
Look, I disagree. I don't think he's played his way into a starting role. I still want the Jets to look elsewhere, whether that is through the draft, on the free agent market, of course. Tyler Linderbaum, the hot name, obviously, coming out of Baltimore. He's set to be a free agent this offseason. I think this is an insurance move by the Jets, right? Because now they have 4 of 5 offensive linemen currently on this starting line under contract for next year. John Simpson, the lone one who not currently under contract with the Jets for next season. So I think this could potentially be a safety route. But if you look at it at the end of the day, the Jets gave him high-end backup money, and I think that's what he is. The numbers show it. He's a low-end starter in this league, but a high-end backup. I think as it pertains to building an offensive line in today's NFL, where protection is more important than ever, you want to have 7, 8 guys who you feel confident in and guys that you think can inherit a starting role and do a solid job. I think Myers is one of those 7 or 8 guys for next season. I don't know if he's one of the top 5, Jack.
Yeah, first of all, man, I'm sorry if I sound like this for the majority of the show. I am not feeling that great right now, and I'm trying to push through just to talk some Jets with you guys. One of the only good things about this season is coming here every Saturday and talking Jets. But in my thoughts on the Myers situation, right, I think it's a good extension. I think it's a good extension that the Jets have made a couple days ago with Myers. Again, like you said, he's been the weakest link on this offensive line, but there's been many times throughout the season where I trust Josh Myers enough for him to be our starting center next year. Sure, would I like to go get Linderbaum? Absolutely. If he's available and we have enough cap space for it, go get him on a multi-year deal if we can afford it. How old is he, by the way? He's fairly young, right?
I think he's 27.
Okay, all right.
I'll check that now, but
get him on a what?
He's 25.
3-year deal. Okay, yeah, 4-year deal maybe for Linderbaum if we could afford it. If not, then perfectly okay with Josh Myers coming back as our center. But hey, if the Jets get to re-sign AVT, you still get to have Myers as a very valuable backup. So really, for me, it's a win-win scenario if anything happens. That's why I really like this extension.
Chris?
Glad to be back here with you boys. Like Jack said, it's the best part of this Jets season. Every Saturday, I come on here with you guys. As this nightmare season continues, my mindset shifts to get Mendoza at all costs. But on the Myers stuff, I think we've seen through the years how important having offensive line depth is. So I like the move that we're signing him. And I mean, like Jack said, I would like to get Tyler Linderbaum or a guy like him that's really good and has, plays at a very high level. But I'm fine with Josh Myers. I think he's played pretty well.
The news that just broke minutes ago, Azareye'h Thomas, Jets rookie cornerback, obviously 3rd-round pick out of Florida State, moved to injured reserve. It was announced earlier on in the week that he would be sidelined. The Jets injury report this week is lengthy. We'll dive into that shortly, but that being the most notable, that dealing with a shoulder injury, Thomas will now go to injured reserve, and with 4 games only left in the season now, that will effectively end his 2025 campaign. And when you talk about his rookie season overall in review, it wasn't a large enough sample size for me, really. He didn't play a significant role on defense the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. Sauce Gardner gets traded at the NFL trade deadline. He steps into a starting role. I thought he did a solid job. I thought he was able to, he was able to get a ton of pass breakups and, reach almost a Jets record for a rookie cornerback. So I think there's some promise there. I liked overall what I saw out of him, but I just don't think it's a large enough sample size for me to say, okay, this guy was an absolute steal in round 3. After, sure, he played in enough games, but I don't think he got enough premium snaps to really get a full assessment and a full gauge on who he is moving forward, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this time of the season, we have to reassess everything at the defensive level. The defense has been an absolute disaster this year, and that was all highlighted in the first half of the Miami game last week. And then at garbage time, it starts to look fine. But when it mattered, the defense was an absolute disaster. And I think that starts with Wilks. Yes, the defense was very banged up, but I mean, I've been calling Wilks out for the way the defense has looked since the first Dolphins game earlier in the season. So I really don't like how this defense is being run schematically, first off. And then I agree with you, Connor. A.Z. Thomas has shown promise, but the entire defense has been so underwhelming that I think it's important that we allocate most of our money in free agency to defense.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And the good thing is the Jets have a lot of cap space. The Jets are expected to have over $90 million to work with this offseason. The issue being, however, this free agency class is super weak. People thought last year's free agency was weak and there was no big name to go after. This year is right up there with last year, potentially even a little slimmer, especially given the growing possibility that Alec Pierce will ultimately go back to the Indianapolis Colts on a pretty lucrative multi-year deal. There aren't many names out there expected to hit the market that are really, really, really solid players who can come in and make a huge impact for you in a starting role. Now, I'm not saying that the Jets can't find good value and get a guy to come in here and, fulfill a cornerback 2, a cornerback 3 job, something along those lines. What I'm saying is I just don't think there's anyone headlining this class, especially like I mentioned with Alec Pierce. And then also I think Tyler Linderbaum is going to go back to Baltimore and re-up with the Ravens on a 5-6 year extension. So really, I don't think there is any big name that is going to come in this offseason and save the Jets, so to speak. At the end of the day, this is something that we talk about every free agency. Teams in the NFL year by year have gotten better about paying their young premier talent in season and not having it be an issue come the offseason. Sure, there are certainly some exceptions, a la Trey Hendrickson with the Cincinnati Bengals last year, but this is something that we continue to see NFL teams do and do it more often as each offseason passes by. So this offseason, no doubt, however, is going to be a huge one for the Jets, whether the free agency class is weak, whether it's strong, no matter how they view this draft class, weak or strong. The Jets have a ton of draft capital over the next few years. The Jets have a ton of cap space to maneuver with. So nevertheless, this is going to be a really interesting offseason, and I like to see that the Jets are going ahead and extending a player like Myers, kind of circling back to that conversation right now, because I think it shows, like I mentioned earlier on, that they're rewarding internal growth. And there are a handful of other players who I think deserve a similar extension to Josh Myers before the season ends. Isaiah Williams comes to mind, Kene Nwangu, Nick Folk, those 3 main guys on the special teams front. I think Austin McNamara is already under contract for next year, so you can kind of put him out of those talks. But I think Juwan Briggs is going to get his ERFA tender approved by the Jets this offseason. I think a guy like John Mechie will come back. So again, a lot of moves that the Jets could make. And these final 4 weeks, I think, are going to play a bigger role in their evaluation on a lot of these guys than some fans make it out to be. Now, let's turn our attention to tomorrow's game in Jacksonville. Jets-Jaguars, 1 p.m. kickoff. Brady Cook making the start against a Jaguars team that just annihilated the Indianapolis Colts last week. They're 9-4. They're on pace to win the AFC South. Them and the Houston Texans, of course, on a collision course. So it's going to be interesting to watch this game tomorrow, because the Jaguars are a really, really, really good football team, folks. And the Jets just got their teeth kicked in at home by the division rival Miami Dolphins. So are the Jets able to bounce back with an undrafted rookie making his first start, or are they going to fold and not be able to cover the 13.5 point spread? What do you say, Jack Cotter?
It's either going to be there's no one. There's 2 options. There's no 1.5 here. It'll be one of these 2 scenarios. A, it'll be an absolute embarrassment for the Jets, getting beat 31-10, something like that. It's 27-13, somewhere around that realm. Or we can have that Tank Bowl game from 4 years ago when Zach Wilson had that 53-yard touchdown run against Jacksonville. It could be something like that. Obviously, the Jaguars are in position to be a playoff team, but that's just how I see how it could go. It'll either be a really close game that ends in a Jets victory or a Jaguars victory, or just an absolute embarrassment for the Jets. I can't see it going any other way, to be honest with you.
Look, I think the Jets are going to get absolutely ripped into shreds tomorrow against the Jaguars defense that I think ranks 7th in defensive DVOA. And the Jets obviously have an undrafted rookie and Brady Cook at the helm making his first start. He'll have Breece Hall, but he'll be without Garrett Wilson like Tyrod Taylor these past few games, and he'll be without Mason Taylor. So frankly, the top 2 receivers on this team will not be in the fold tomorrow as Brady Cook makes his first NFL start for the Jets. Now, familiar face will be backing up Brady Cook. Adrian Martinez, who was with the Jets these past 2 preseasons, cut by the San Francisco 49ers. The Jets brought him back in a day after his release, and he will serve as Brady Cook's backup tomorrow in Duval County. And Chris, tomorrow is going to feel a lot more like a preseason game than a meaningful Week 15 matchup with Brady Cook as your QB1 and Adrian Martinez as your QB2, man.
Dude, I remember before the season, we were talking about it being a nightmare scenario that Brady Cook gets any playing time at all, which is, it's crazy to see how that's been fulfilled. But at this point in the season, it's hard not to have that thought in the back of your mind where, I mean, this is a truth that the best thing that could happen to the Jets at this point is that they lose out the rest of this stretch and put themselves in contention to have at least have a shot at the number 1 overall pick. Because this year is one of the 2 years that you had the option to take your franchise quarterback in the draft. Obviously, there's been some buzz about maybe trading for one, Joe Burrow. I even saw somebody talk about Patrick Mahomes, which he's been playing at a subpar level. I don't even know if I'd be willing to give up the house for him at this point. But, I mean, where it stands, as in my opinion, I think we should just hope that the Jets lose out. And if we need to trade up slightly, we can. But I want to get Fernando Mendoza in this year's draft. And I think we'd have to be at number 1 to do that because I don't want there to be any chance of anyone else being able to jump us. So, I mean, the Raiders could possibly be looking for a quarterback, maybe even the Dolphins if they're not content with what Tua is doing. Maybe they can.
The
Saints, of course. I mean, like, I'm not rooting for the Jets to lose, but there's a thought in the back of my mind where it's like, I know it's the best thing that could happen for them to lose. But like, there's one game that's an exception to that. Like, when they play the Saints, I will be rooting for them to lose 100%. I'll be rooting for the Saints in that game because it is important that we get Fernando Mendoza, I think, in this year's draft.
Look, I don't root for the Jets to lose. Honestly, at this point in the year, I've kind of taken the approach where I don't really care. I kind of just watch the game and like analyze it and just, see some of the young guys play, and hopefully we have those guys show promise. Obviously, again, a lot of them will not play tomorrow in Jacksonville. I'm not blatantly rooting them for them to lose. I mean, frankly, at this point in the year, I've kind of reached the apathetic stage where it's like, I don't really care what happens. Like, the season's over. They're 3-10. It's terrible. You're like, there's no point in even rooting for losses to say, oh, I want Aaron Glenn fired, so I'm going to root for them to lose every single game. That's not happening.
Yeah,
There's no point in doing that, Josh. So we only got 4 more weeks till it ends. I wish I could just blink my eyes, Josh Wolliver, and we would be in the legal tampering period.
I'm so sick and tired of this shit where there's a new quarterback on this team every year. Like, I feel like I was just in Miami watching Zach Wilson get concussed and Trevor Siemian walk onto the field down 30-0 at halftime. Like, I'm so blatantly fed up with this. And like, obviously we're Jets fans, so it happens to all of us, but it is so annoying that Brady Cook is starting tomorrow and his backup is Adrian Martinez. It does not get worse than that, gentlemen. And you can only hope that they have a good offseason, Chris. I'm kind of with Connor here. I'm not going to stand up and start cheering for the Saints. That's like, why would I do that? And at the same time, look, Chris, don't worry tomorrow. The Jets will jet. You don't need to worry about rooting for Jacksonville. This game, I would be shocked if it is not a 20-plus point blowout in favor of Jacksonville. They're coming off stomping the Colts. No Daniel Jones, obviously, so that takes away a little bit, but if you're talking about no Daniel Jones, you could just turn to the Jets quarterback room and say it's not much better.
Man.
So
that's a practice squad quarterback room.
Yeah, we have a pretty
who would you take, Phillip
comparison.
Rivers or Brady Cook? That's an
I would
interesting.
take Phillip Rivers. It's so bad.
If he hasn't played a snap in 5 years, we don't know how he's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, the only hope is for a good offseason. Like, Connor, you mentioned weak free agency class. So what does that mean? And I think we all know Glenn and a majority of the staff is returning, maybe the exception of Steve Wilkes. What does a weak free agency class means? And what does a high amount of draft picks over the next 2 years mean? It all falls on the coaching staff. So you want these guys to develop, you want them to get better. If you're committed to signing these guys, if you're committed to trade up for a quarterback, you better have a good coaching staff around them to develop them and make them better, or you're wasting 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. You're recycling head coaches again. We're right back to square one where this is the worst team in the league, and we're playing an undrafted free agent 14 weeks into his NFL career.
Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. You are watching the Next Gen Jet Show alongside my co-hosts Jack Cotter, Chris Grosso, Josh Wolliver. I'm Connor Long, right here with you guys on the show. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe again. Completely free. Helps grow a ton. Questions, comments, thoughts in the chat. Call into the show with the link pinned at the top of the chat. Let's go over to the phone lines. 3-10 to 3-14, better known as Allen, the tanker, who Alan, it's been like 3 years in a row now since I've kind of seen you do these shows, and you're rooting for a tank at this point in the year every single time. How about next year or 2 years down the road at this time? We're talking about, will the Jets be the 4 seed in the playoffs or the 5 seed? Not will they finish with the 4th overall pick or the 5th overall pick.
Connor, I like you, but that crap you just spewed, I don't even really need to hear it, but I appreciate it. First of all, Josh, how old are you?
15.
God bless you, man. You are the star. God bless you. I love the attitude.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions for you guys. Number one, why are any Jet fans rooting for them to win right now? Honestly, seriously, I need to know.
Thank you.
Why? What is the
I'm
point?
not rooting for them to win.
Okay, good.
I'm just going into it numb, like I said. Yeah.
Okay. Season's over. They're playing 2 CFL quarterbacks. One is a starter and one's a backup. Okay. Am I right?
Yeah.
Both those guys will be playing in the CFL next year. So who cares?
Probably.
Yeah, Josh, why are you rooting for them to win still, Josh?
I mean, I'm just not going to sit down on my couch and start rooting for the Jaguars. But of course, it really doesn't matter what I do. I've watched this team play football.
Not rooting for the Jaguars. You're rooting for the Jets to become better in the offseason.
It doesn't matter who I root for, Chris. I know the Jaguars will win this game by 3 touchdowns.
Very smart, Josh. I live here in Dallas, and the Pats and the Bill game is here. So why even bother going to the bar and watching this crap? So I'd rather watch the Pats and the Bills than watch the Jets. Okay.
Yeah, watch 2 good quarterbacks.
At least I watch 2 good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The reason I called was 2 things that you guys mentioned. Tyler Linderbaum, as you know, I'm a huge Iowa fan. The Jets are not paying a center $18+ million. Okay? Forget about it.
I think he's going back to Baltimore as well, too. I don't think he's going to hit the mark.
Even if he wasn't going back to Baltimore, knowing that we have 2 tackles to pay and a guard to pay in the next couple of years, they're not paying a center $18+ million. Okay, forget about that. So why not go get his protege? Okay, he won the Remington Award last night, Logan Jones. He turns 25 in October, so I don't know if he'll be a 2nd round pick. He might move to maybe a 3rd or early 4th round pick. He's a guy you start day 1, and he's a 12-year starter for the Jets. Okay, as far as the Myers contract, it's strictly backup money for me.
Yeah,
1 year, $6 million. Who cares? It doesn't make a difference. Okay. If he is starting at the beginning of 2026, then there is issues within the organization. He's a backup. That's all he is. He comes in when someone gets hurt. Bottom line. My second reason was was for you, Mr. Grasso. Okay. You made a comment that the Jets should trade up for Mendoza at all costs. Right? So
they're not in a position to take him normally.
Elaborate on that. What does all costs mean?
So I don't think there's a fine line between giving too much and giving the right amount.
You said at all cost. That came out of your mouth.
No, like get him at all costs, which means like lose out. That's why I want them to lose out.
Okay, so elaborate what all costs mean. I'm dying to hear this one.
All costs. So lose out, number 1, and then the most I'd be willing to trade up is 2 first-round picks this year and a 2nd next year. So both of our first this year and a 2nd next year.
Okay. So
I'm still a little weary of that. I still am.
Okay. So you're willing to trade, let's say, Carnell Tate, Sonny Styles, and maybe Dylan Thieneman to move up for a quarterback whose ceiling might be Kirk Cousins. Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
You think his ceiling is Kirk Cousins?
I do. I don't think there's much more than that. No, I think he's a mid quarterback. I think the best thing that happened to Mendoza is he fell into the lap of Kurt Cignetti. Kurt Cignetti has made Fernando Mendoza. It is not the other way around. Okay, you could put any quarterback in that system and they'd be successful. Okay,
it's similar to Ohio State as well, like Ole Miss, Ohio State, all those teams that operate systems that are quarterback friendly. Look, again, I like Fernando Mendoza. I'll say this take every single time we do the show. I like him good, not great. I don't give up really much to trade up for him. Alan, I know you're big into the college quarterbacks. I've been meaning to ask you this for a few shows.
Sure,
one of my favorite players in this year's draft class, one of my favorite quarterbacks. I want to hear your thoughts on him. Jaden Mayava out of USC. Your thoughts on him?
I'm always leery about drafting USC quarterbacks. First of all, they rarely do well in the pros. I know you can talk about Carson Palmer. Sammy took a couple of years. He's been good. Again, wait till Sammy actually wins a big game on the road and no talk. Okay.
Yeah.
As far as Jaden Mayava, it's an interesting watch because they have 2 top 40 wide receivers. Okay. In Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon. Both those guys are going to be really good pros. I think Mayava is a mid quarterback. I don't think he's great. I think he's okay. I think he's a guy you can get mid-second. I would not take him any higher. He's fine. Again, I'd rather go the Mayava route than trade 2 1s and a 2 to Mendoza.
Yeah, that's why. So this has been my thought process, Alan, taking potentially a Jada Mayava in the second round. Look, the Jets don't have to take a quarterback with their top pick this year, but I do believe they have to take a quarterback on day 1 or day 2 this year at some point. They need to get a quarterback in here. And then, the conversation of do they take one first round of 2027? That is for a whole nother time. But I like Mayava because that opens the possibility for you to, maybe get one of his teammates with one of your first round picks in Jacoby Lane or Mekhi Lemon, like you mentioned, or land a Carnell Tate or Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. So there are so many different routes that I think you can go down, and continuing to build not only offensive infrastructure, but continuing to build this defense. I think it's easy to get excited about the ascent of some of these young players on the team, Alan. But I think a lot of people forget, as I wrote in Jets X Factor earlier this week, that the Jets, I think, are a lot less talented than a lot of people.
Absolutely.
They have a lot more holes than a lot of people want to admit. This defensive line is inconsistent at best. I think you can make a case that you need 2 new starting edge rushers. The linebackers all year long with Quincy Williams and Jamie Sherwood have been terrible. They don't have a safety on this roster. The secondary is beyond. Then they pretty much need to rebuild this whole offense, the whole defense, this offseason. And that's why I get frustrated with people who say trade up for Fernando Mendoza no matter what. He is going to come in here overnight and revive this franchise. The quarterback,
I would say that.
I'm not saying you said that, Chris. I'm just saying in general. The quarterback obviously expedites the rebuild process, and you need a quarterback to win at the NFL level. And I'm not saying the Jets aren't suited for a rookie quarterback right now. What I'm saying is the Jets can't afford to give up all these assets for a quarterback who could be just okay. So that's my point with Mendoza and these rookies, Alan. You got anything else you want to say before we let you go?
I do. I truly believe the Sauce and Williams trades were for 2027 more so than 2026. I think there's a vision with Muji, and with these 2 trades, it allowed them to slow play the rebuild. Again, you have 3 number 1s in a really loaded 2027 class. Okay. I keep hearing people that say they want to trade one of the first in 27 to move up for Mendoza. That's beyond ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's hard.
I would not touch any of those guys. But bottom line is, as you mentioned, Connor, the talent on this team, people have been overhyping the talent. Their defense is awful. It's, my opinion, one of the 5 worst units in the league. I have no confidence in their edge rushers. Their 2 linebackers are terrible. Hopefully that completely gets rehauled. I like Malachi Moore. I think he's an average safety. They don't have another safety. I don't know what they have as far as nose tackles. I like Briggs. He's a fine player.
Yeah.
But he's good. He's average. He's not great. There's a lot that needs to be worked on as far as this complete unit. They just need to work on everything. And when you have 8 draft picks in the first 2 rounds in the next 2 years, and there's still people that want to trade multiple assets to move up for a quarterback that I think at best would be maybe the 13th best quarterback in the league. I look at him as a 13 to 17 best quarterback in the league. I like Mendoza. I don't love Mendoza. I think lack of athleticism is a big concern with him. Again, I watched the Iowa game earlier this year. If you send exotic blitzes against him, He will struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he's the flavor of the month. That's pretty much what he is right now. And he might be the only quarterback in this class. Again, Dante Moore I like, but Dante Moore is, in my opinion, 2 years away from being effective.
Yeah, him and Lenora Sellers are in that same boat. And Lenora Sellers obviously gets reported today, Pete Thamel, again, that he's going to go back to South Carolina. Go back to the NCAA, whether he goes to South Carolina or transfers.
He should transfer, by the way.
SC, baby.
They announced he's coming back. All right, perfect. Look, Moore and Sellers are in that same boat where, look, they have the potential to be a Cam Newton type player, but at the same time, you watch their game, you see a lot of similar flaws to players like Anthony Richardson, to players like Justin Fields, who we just saw for 9 games this season, and the disaster that he is. So again, those guys are projects, and certainly players the Jets could look to maybe draft and develop over the course of these next couple seasons, but not guys that I want coming in right away and starting all 17 games year one.
Keep up the good work, guys. Jack, get better. And Chris, when you say go all in, just realize you have to say the reason you go all in. You do not go all in for a mid quarterback, and that's what.
Yeah, not in terms of like trading 2027 first round.
What does go all in mean? You said 2 1s and a 2.
Go all into the mindset
quarterback,
bro. Just tank.
Tanking is going all in.
Alan, what he wants to do is to tell a head coach to stop winning games. He wants to tell the head coach to stop his job.
Brady Cook is not putting you in a good position to win, Josh.
Okay, so who is Justin Fields?
No matter what,
Justin Fields, what are they going to do? Chris, manufacture a trade past the deadline? What do you want him to do? Pick up Phillip Rivers?
I don't know, bro. Like, I think Justin Fields would give you a better chance to win than Brady Cook.
Fields isn't even healthy.
So we're picking between the 40th and we're picking between the 50th and 60th best options in the NFL. Okay,
yeah,
Chris,
I know we have the worst quarterback room in the league right now. It's
okay. That's okay. All right.
So this is not a position to win at all, Josh. We have a CFL quarterback.
It's not, but that doesn't mean that the head coach stops trying to win.
Enjoy the game tomorrow.
Bye, Alan.
Thank you for joining us, Alan. We appreciate your kind words, and we appreciate your support, as always, right here on the channel. You guys are watching the Next Gen Jets show. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. I'm Connor Long, alongside Chris Grosso, Josh Williver, Jack Cotter. Questions, comments, thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. We'll get to those. Shout out to Jake Asman, who I was on with yesterday afternoon. What is going on, Jake? Says, get this old douchebag off your show, kids. He's evil. Jake, thank you for the $2 super chat, my friend. Appreciate the support.
Oh, yeah.
Hope all is well with you. Lou B follows that up, says, okay, guys, what QB rookie would you pick and when? Thank you for the $2 super chat. I'm sticking with Jaden Mayava. He is my guy. I like him in the second round. He is someone who I think is going to have the most sustainable NFL career among any of the quarterbacks this year. He is a true, in my opinion, guy. I'm not saying I'm comparing his style of play to these guys, but a Jacoby Brissett or Ryan Tannehill, in the sense that he can be in the league for 15 years. That is the style of play that he has. I mean, a prototypical build, 6'4", 230 pounds, elite arm talent, can make all the throws on the route trees, incredible pocket awareness, improved footwork, can pick up the blitz. I just think, Mayava, the way I view him is he's a quarterback that has all the traits combined from the top guys in certain positions this year. He has, I think, the arm strength of Fernando Mendoza, the arm strength of Dante Moore. He has the footwork of a Drew Aller. And I think he has all those traits that can really be built off at the next level. So I am big on Jaden Mayava. What do you got, guys?
Obviously Mendoza, my number one, clear-cut number one. I love Fernando Mendoza. But if I had to pick a two, I'd either go with Dante Moore if he's coming out this year. Depends on how well he does in the playoffs. And for my number two, that's kind of hard because I like Ty Simpson, but I feel like he's regressed slowly. Like within the past couple of weeks, I haven't really seen much like I did when I saw him from late September or mid-November. So that's kind of becoming an issue for me, at least. But I don't mind Simpson. I'd probably either have to go Moore or Simpson in my opinion. I like Jaden Mayava. Again, I wouldn't be mad if the Jets pick him up. But if you had to ask me, I'd probably have to go Moore or Simpson. Just because another one of the factors is just because I've watched a lot more of Simpson than Mayava, so I really have to probably start watching more Jaden Mayava. And if I start watching more of him, maybe my mind can change. But those are the two that I keep my eyes on right now.
Josh.
Well, I think we know where Chris stands on this one. So
Yeah, we could.
funny that you go to me.
I'm still going to explain the vision I see in.
No,
Yeah,
okay,
no,
sure.
absolutely.
All right.
We're saving the
Yeah, we'll save
we'll
save the craziness for the end. We'll save
all
the
right, Josh,
rationale.
let's
We'll spend some rationality here for the viewers. I'm sort of on Alan's side here. I do not need to spend 3 top 40 picks to get this quarterback. That first of all, Chris, I mean, maybe opinions change here. Haven't seen him play in the college football playoffs yet. Yes, he leads his team to the number 1 seed, but the lights are starting to get bright, Chris, and there's no lights brighter at the pro level than the New York market. We have had failed quarterback after failed quarterback after failed quarterback, not just here, but also for the Giants. This market is desperate to see a game-changing quarterback. And that means if Mendoza can't show up in the playoffs and can't lead the Hoosiers to at least making the national championship, that is a big-time concern for what he can do in the biggest market in sports. I'll start there, Chris. But I'll also say, I want to build off what Jack says and what Alan said earlier. This is not something where you need to be desperate to trade up for this one guy.
Yes.
You also have 3 first-round picks in a probably better 2027 class. So where I was at, a couple weeks ago was I didn't love any of the prospects on the board. Go get a 4th-round quarterback. He'll be your fill-in quarterback. I think I'm off that train now. I think I've sort of realized that when you have 2 firsts and 2 seconds this year, I believe it is, and you have that big of a glaring hole, you can't really turn away from it and say we'll draft a 4th-round quarterback and fill 4 other holes. That just isn't going to keep people happy. So I think this team does draft a quarterback in that top 40, top 50. I think Jack's right. If Dante Moore comes out, that's certainly an appealing name. And we both, or all 4 of us know that this isn't a team that needs to win. Now, Connor, you mentioned how many holes you think this defense has. Hate to say it, Chris, but the last time I checked, this guy isn't Shohei Ohtani. He doesn't play offense and defense. This is not, we're not looking at the next Ohtani who pitches and hits. Mendoza is a quarterback only. So I don't think you need to sell the picks this year or 3 out of your 4 top 50 picks to go up there and get 1 quarterback.
He's going to change everything, Josh. He's going to win a Super Bowl his first year in the league. What are you talking about?
Sorry. Right.
5 first-round picks.
Yeah. So we're going to go from a 3-win team. We're going to go from a 3-win team.
We're going to sell the farm in baseball terms. That's what you do, according to Chris Grasso.
But Chris, no, I want to hear what you have to say, Chris. Go ahead.
Connor and Jack.
Fire away.
Mets right now.
Fire away, big dog. Here we go.
They've had a shitty offseason. I don't know what you want me to say. They bounced back.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jorge Polanco, a nice deal. Pete Alonso replacement. We'll see what the Harvard genius.
That is not a Pete Alonso replacement.
Edwin Diaz. Come on.
Overall, though, for all the Met fans out there who actually want my honest opinion, I was planning on breaking it down on some point, like 2 minutes on a regular show. I think it's been an atrocious offseason for David Stearns. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They went all in last year when they gave Juan Soto all that money. They signaled after they made it to the NLCS that they are going all in, that they want to win a World Series over the next 3 seasons. They needed to add to the roster this offseason because they didn't have enough, not take away from it. And they lose out on Edwin Diaz on what would have, been a fine deal for the Mets. It was a 3-year, $69 million contract that the Mets could have easily signed him to. And they didn't even make an offer to Pete Alonso, who was drafted by this organization, who earned his keep with this organization, who sure is not the best defensive first baseman in the league, but one of the best hitting first basemen in all of baseball. It has been absolutely atrocious for the Mets. Thank you for getting me into that tirade, Chris. Back to Fernando Mendoza.
So when I see Mendoza is a poised quarterback who makes big-time throws, has big-time ball placement.
Remember, he watched the last drive against Penn State, everybody.
That was even Josh, let me finish. Thank you. Even in the Ohio State game, the ball placement was.
Did Fernando Mendoza make the kicker miss the field goal?
It doesn't matter.
I think he was waving
Did his
his
team
arm.
score 13
The number one
points?
Ohio State defense.
Did his
You're not
team score
telling me
13
the only
points?
reason Ohio State lost was because of that kick. Mendoza had the offense in the game the entire game. Throughout the season,
Chris,
he's been
Fernando
great.
Mendoza, by the way, doesn't even rank in the top 15 in big time throw rate.
What is big time throw? What is that stat?
It's the statistic that measures big time throws in the NFL and the college football realm.
It doesn't matter. He's clutch.
Yeah, what's the
He is
formula on
poised.
that one,
And
Connor? What's the
I wanted to
formula?
get to Alan mentioned, but you
I'll
guys
let Chris
kind of
finish.
kept on talking, whatever. But Alan said how fuck. What was I gonna say? I forgot. Hold on, give me a second here. I'll remember.
All right.
I'll-
In the meantime, we'll go
I'll
into the
keep on
chat
yapping
because
about
we had a
Mendoza.
flurry
The ball
of.
placement is great. He can put the ball wherever he wants. Mentioned that already. Clutch. Mentioned that. Oh, he's mentioned about the blitz. If you send an exotic blitz at him, he'll fold. Isn't that for any young quarterback though? What young
No.
quarterback do you see that instantly can come in and be poised like automatically against any blitz? Like it's going to
Lenore
take
Sellers.
It's going
Drake May.
Lenore Sellers. No, it's going to take
Yeah,
Drake May,
Lenore
Jalen
Sellers can
Daniels.
escape the pocket.
the knock on
the
Drake May
best
was
in the
his
country.
footwork. Mendoza needs to work on his footwork, and that takes time. Like this is why I don't want him to start immediately. I want him to develop under a veteran or a bridge.
So who do you
quarterback
want to
so He
start?
can get his footwork right. He can get all this. He can learn at his own pace, and we can develop him slowly. Like this is what happens when you draft your guy. And if you move up to get him, you need to slowly ease him into the NFL so that when he comes in, he can be successful. The offense already has a perfect foundation for him. As long as we get another receiver, we have a good running back, a solid offensive line, and so we just have to ease him in.
Hold, please, Chris. You're trading three picks for
Chris.
this guy. Wait, you're trading
not even
three
that much,
picks for this
bro.
guy. Wait.
That's
You're
not
trading
much.
3 picks for this guy. He is your guy for sure, but he can't even start. Is that what I mean?
Yeah.
3 picks?
Like,
3 picks?
He
you
can
trade
start, but
that-
when is starting
You
quarterback
trade
instantly
that
work
much for
for
a
the Jets? When
Yeah,
is starting quarterback
he
instantly
better
work?
be good
Alright,
enough to
He's
start.
Well, if you trade that much for a
That's the
quarterback, Josh, he
ideal
needs to be a
scenario for a
top
quarterback.
15 quarterback his first year.
Yeah,
in the league.
Chris, if
Yeah.
you're willing to trade 2
He needs to be
firsts and a
top
second
15
for one
first
player,
year in the league.
he sure as hell be a starter in his first year.
Why though?
Guarantee people would be talking about this like Trevor Lawrence 4
It's
years
not that
ago.
much. Like giving 2 first-round picks this year and a second next year.
Then-
Basically, it's a
then
flip
wait,
flop, a
wait.
first and a second. It's not
Wait,
that much.
If
We'll
this
be-
guy
we still have
needs to
3
develop
firsts in
so much,
2027.
if
We still have
this
the
guy
first
needs to
overall pick and
develop
our
so
second-round
much,
picks from this
why
year.
are you so keen on trading 3 top-tier picks for him?
Chris, what are
Three
you
of the
talking
top
about? The
picks.
Jets have all these solid offensive weapons. They have an offensive line that's ranked about
Mason
top
Taylor,
15 in the
Garrett
league.
Wilson, and you have to get more receivers. You have
Mason,
to
are
draft
you
a receiver in
saying
the second.
Mason Taylor, the
Yeah,
selling
he's a
point
solid
for a
weapon. He's
rookie
developing. Like, what do you
quarterback?
want him to do?
He has
He
like
is-
200 receiving yards this year. The upside's
He's
enticing, but
developing.
you can't mention Mason Taylor in a. You can't confuse.
To be fair,
Mason
he had a
Taylor
shitty Justin
for an
Justin
elite
Fields
tight
this
end.
year.
He's had Justin Fields throwing the ball all season. Like,
The
what do you
Jets have
want him to
one
do?
wide receiver, an offensive line that is good, and what else? Like, I think again, there are pieces to build off here. Certainly, I think the Jets have a better offense than the other teams picking high. But let's not say that the Jets have great weapons, the Jets have a good offense, and things like that. That couldn't be further from the truth, in my opinion. When you look around the roster and see
Need
what
more
these guys
receivers.
have been able to accomplish throughout their career. Robert Boy Wonders, thank you so much for the 2 gifted memberships. Alan, thank you so much for the 10-pack.
Hit it, baby.
Gifted memberships, my friend.
My name is Chris Brasso and I love the Jets more than everyone else. I am a highlight warrior. Aaron Glenn is the best coach they could hire, but under 4 games won and he must be fired. I love every 2026 QB just based on highlights. I have watched 5 minutes of Nico's highlights and he is a Hall of Fame. Arm strength is all that matters. This isn't the same old Jets. THE 2025 Jets are different. Justin Fields is the franchise guy. Or Nico will be drafted in 26. Highlights are all that matter.
Nico, I am a loser. That's a name I
This
have
is an
I-
ironic
Wow.
song,
He's
Chris.
coming out in 2027.
Of
He should
course.
transfer to a better team. UCLA's ass. There we go. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew one of you guys was gonna mention Nico at the end of that song.
That's a pretty ironic
Mm.
song
Oh,
because
yeah.
everything you say now you go against. Justin Fields is the franchise guy, yet you can't hate him more.
He needs-
Aaron Glenn's gonna win under 4 games,
better
and you're
score.
talking about how much you want to keep him around. So, Chris, that's a
I
pretty
know-
ironic song these days.
Where have you
No,
heard
Chris
me
doesn't want
talk?
to keep Aaron
You don't
Glenn
listen to
around.
me.
Yeah,
You
Chris
clearly
never
don't
said he
listen
wanted to keep Fields, bro.
I do not want to. I don't like Aaron Glenn at this current state.
Fields is the franchise guy.
Fields
He's not
is
like
the best-
AJ. He's kept the
best
locker
QB
room
at that
together.
10
Who do you want him
wins.
to get if not Fields?
10
Who would you want him to get at that
wins.
time if not Fields?
I know.
What-
I agree.
10
with you.
wins.
Thank you.
Lou
See,
B, $2
Josh
super
is
chat.
great.
As always, I agree with Chris Mendoza trade up. Shout out to you, Lou. Thank you for the
Lou
support.
B,
As
my
always.
guy.
Robin Boy, thank you for the $2 super chat. This Uncle Steve got his casinos. The end. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, he now after he sold that gold toilet for $7 or $8 million, he only owns one gold toilet now, that being the New York Mets. So look, he got one off his hands. Will he sell the second? That is still up for debate. Thank you all for joining us again. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. You are watching the Next Gen Jet Show alongside my co-host Josh Williver, Chris Grosso, Jack Cotter. I'm Connor Long, right here with you guys on the show. Boys, it's a fun show. As always, you got any final thoughts here before we wrap things up? Football related, non-football related, Jack?
Is it? One, I have one football related. Two, I got another thing. I'll start with the football related one though. Go Jets, as always. Let's go get a good draft pick. Let's beat the living shit out of the Jaguars tomorrow.
Say, go Jets. Let's go get a good draft pick. Let's beat the living shit out of the Jaguars.
No, I meant like a good draft pick. I like let's go get I meant like
Heck,
let's
you
go
live
get
on
a
North
good
South
guy in
Lane,
the draft. That's not what I didn't mean like go get a higher pick. I mean like go get a good guy in the draft, right?
Okay.
Interesting.
But second thing, non-football related. It's all. I don't know if any of you. I know you three don't. But if there's anyone in the chat that watches wrestling, tonight is a very emotional night. Tonight is the last time. Is now John Cena's last match is tonight. Oh man, it is. It's gonna be an emotional roller coaster.
Who's gonna
tonight,
win? Who's gonna win?
Peacock.
Let's call
Gunther.
the script writers. Who's gonna win?
I just got a text
gonna
from
win.
a source in the WWE. John Cena is coming back full time now. Tonight doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what's gonna happen right now. I'll tell you what's gonna happen. Gunther's gonna put him in a sleeper hold. Cena's gonna pass out. He's gonna pass the torch over to Gunther and the younger talent. He's gonna get a retirement.
Jack,
speech
you're
for
boring the audience with the wrestling talk.
I don't care. I really don't care. I had to get that off my chest. You asked me, I answered.
Chris.
Oh my God! Lose out, get draft Mendoza, and I'll be a happy camper. And let's go Jets.
Josh.
That was a very entertaining show, guys. Honestly, A+ call by Alan. Haven't heard a call as good as that since draft season, which is 24/7 for these Jets. Jack, I hope you really enjoy it. I hope they give you a good script for one final ride. I genuinely do. Christopher,
They
man,
better.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. So wait, they better, and what do you mean by that? Like they better get worse, or
They
what?
better not ruin his last match. Like his greatest of all time.
Chris, I mean, what can I say to you, man? Look, this is what I'll say to you, Chris. One thing I admire about you is that when you're determined on something, you are determined on something. When you're determined on going to trade school, you're going to damn trade school. When you're determined about Justin Fields, you're getting damn Justin Fields. When you're determined about Fernando Mendoza, you're getting Fernando frickin' Mendoza. So that's something I truly admire about you. Connor, as always, appreciate you hosting. We got some big things going on our other channel, Brooklyn Boys. If you haven't subscribed there, hit that up.
Oh, yeah.
Some great content coming your way. Boys, that's all I got to say. Jets are going to lose by 3 touchdowns.
We'll wrap just yes or no explanation. We'll take one quick hitter. I see 2 people here in the chat, Rover and Good Guy Greg, saying go Knicks. If the Knicks win the in-season NBA Cup, should they put a banner up in Madison Square Garden? Jack, Chris, Josh, and then I will.
Yes. Get us New York
No,
sports.
I just said yes or no, Chris.
Yes.
Josh.
Hell no. That's embarrassing.
Nets fan.
Dirty
Nets fan.
Bring it
Get
on,
out of
baby.
here.
No.
Get
I
out
say
of
no.
here.
The Knicks have all this
you're just jealous,
prestige,
right?
right?
Nets are
say-
one of the worst teams in the whole league.
Jack, name me 8 players on the Knicks.
Okay, all right. You have Cat. You have what's
We're
his name?
running out.
What's Brunson? You got Brunson. You got
First name? Do you know
you got
Brunson's
Mikal
first name?
Bridges. Yes, Jalen
Mikal
Brunson. You got Mikal Bridges. And that's
All right,
it.
let's save some
I need
time.
to start watching basketball more. I'm gonna be honest. I need to start
You
watching
got
basketball
OG
more. Actually,
and
I really want to start.
And
Plum
nobody.
Hart.
Shut up, bro. You
got-
got nobody
you got
like
a
OG and Nobi on the Nets.
Mikal Bridges, one of the
Can't
worst
wait
trades in
for the-
Wish they
NBA.
had OG and Nobi.
And then they followed up with one of the biggest overpays in NBA history.
I remember
Chris
exactly where I was.
Graff.
Oh, that'll do it for us.
Go Knicks. Go Jets. Go Yankees.
I'm Connor Long, right here on the Next Gen Jets Show, saying have a great rest of your Friday. As always,
Jets.
Jets.